Hi everyone, my name is Tisha Guy. I hope this presentation would be thought provoking and would ignite the fire in your inner social worker as it did for me. As a nation, the United States of America has a plethora of social issues, but oftentimes we forget how issues outside of our borders are affecting us. Many times we may not be cognizant of the impact, but there is no doubt that the global village is more close knit than we think, and one village member's problem can possibly become ours too. One such social issue is child and forced labor in the Congo. Child and forced labor in the Congo has been occurring for many decades, and unknowingly, people around the world may be contributing to this problem. According to CNN, two-thirds of the world's cobalt comes from the Congo, and one-fifth of that is mined by hand. Thousands of children work in hazardous conditions to extract cobalt, often under duress from armed groups. These children forego education to support their families, perpetuating a cycle of poverty and exploitation. Many adults and children are coerced into labor, with armed militias abducting children, which funds further violence and exploitation. The cobalt supply chain exemplifies the devastating effects of greed in a globalized economy, where the pursuit of profit often comes at the expense of human dignity and environmental sustainability. In this presentation, we're going to address further some of these issues, and we're going to look at how social workers can encourage change or at least be a catalyst for change. This picture gives us a depiction of how different communities within the Congo are experiencing this social issue. For example, we can see in the more rural areas like Equateur and Province Oriental, the percentage of persons experiencing child and forced labor is much higher than someone in an urban area, let's say like in Sud Curvy, which is at 4.8%, much lower than a 15.8% as seen in Equateur. So different populations or different communities are experiencing child and forced labor in different ways. So, first, I'd like to look at children in mining communities. Many children in mining regions, particularly in artisanal mining of minerals like cobalt and gold, often work in hazardous conditions. They may be involved in the extraction process, which exposes them to physical dangers and health risks. An economic necessity drives families to send their children to work, often due to poverty and a lack of access to education. Also, we have rural families, and in rural areas, child labor often manifests in agricultural work. Children may be required to assist with farming or livestock care, which can interfere with their education and development. This labor is often unpaid and viewed as a family obligation, perpetuating cycles of poverty. For this particular question, I chose the ecological systems theory and conflict theory. So, first, I'll start with ecological theory, which was developed by Yuri Bronfenbrenner, and it emphasizes the complex interactions between individuals and their environments. It posits that human development is influenced by various systems ranging from immediate settings to broader societal context. And so, when I use the ecological systems theory to now facilitate engagement and intervention, I found the holistic perspective by recognizing the multiple systems that influence behavior, which would be the microsystem, mesosystem, exosystem, macrosystem, and the chronosystem. Social workers can adopt a holistic approach, and this perspective encourages a deeper understanding of the context in which groups operate, allowing for more tailored and effective interventions. Then we also have empowerment and advocacy, understanding the broader social and economic context which is the macro system, can empower social workers to advocate for policy changes or resources that benefit the community. This advocacy can lead to systemic changes that improve conditions for the target group. Now I'll move on to conflict theory, which was rooted in the works of Karl Marx, or it is rooted in his works, and it focuses on the power dynamics and conflicts between different social classes and groups. It emphasizes how economic and social inequalities lead to exploitation and oppression. So, if I use conflict theory to now um, initiate that intervention, I'm looking at encouraging critical dialogue. And so, conflict theory promotes open discussions about power, privilege, and inequality. Facilitating dialogue with groups and organizations can help participants articulate their experiences and concerns, fostering a deeper understanding of the issue at hand. Then I also chose empowerment of marginalized voices. Conflict theory emphasizes the importance of amplifying the voices of marginalized and oppressed groups, and so social workers can design interventions that prioritize these perspectives, ensuring that their needs and experiences drive the agenda for change and communities. So, first, I'll discuss the ecological systems theory, and for the strengths of that theory in relation to this specific portion of the question, I found a contextual understanding as a strength. So the theory emphasizes the importance of context, allowing social workers to appreciate the complexities of social, cultural, and economic factors affecting groups. The contextual awareness can lead to more relevant and effective interventions tailored to specific community needs. However, there are weaknesses, as there is with every theory. And so, first, I identified complexity as a weakness. The multifaceted nature of ecological systems theory can make it a bit difficult to implement in practice, so social workers may actually struggle to navigate the numerous layers of influence and relationships, leading to potential overwhelm or misinterpretation of factors at play. So, with the conflict theory, the strengths I identified, number one, focus on power dynamics. So, conflict theory emphasizes the role of power in social relationships, helping social workers identify and address imbalances within organizations. This focus enables targeted interventions and aimed at empowering marginalized groups and promoting social justice. Now, moving on to the weaknesses of conflict theory. The first weakness is the limited scope. So, while conflict theory provides a robust framework for understanding power struggles, it may not fully account for other factors influencing group dynamics, such as cultural, emotional, or psychological aspects. This limitation can lead to an incomplete understanding of the issues at hand. I will now proceed to discuss the second portion of this critical evaluation of the theories. And this one requires that I analyze strengths and weaknesses of each theory as it pertains to informing social work practice strategies that promote social and economic justice and human rights. So, first, I'll go with the ecological systems theory. And my strength number one is emphasis on context. The theory highlights the importance of context, helping social workers understand how different environments impact individuals' lives. This contextual understanding is crucial for designing effective interventions that resonate with the specific needs of communities. Weakness is potential for generalization. So while the theory aims for a comprehensive understanding, there's a risk of generalizing findings across diverse groups or contexts, and this can lead to interventions that do not adequately account for unique cultural, social, or economic factors, limiting their effectiveness. Here are some local and national resources I've identified. And then moving on to addressing child and forced labor through the lens of social work values. and that involves applying key principles that guide ethical practice and promote social justice. So I chose number one, service. The social work value of service emphasizes the importance of helping those in need. In the context of child and forced labor, social workers can engage in direct service by providing immediate assistance to children and families affected by labor exploitation, such as food, shelter, and medical care, facilitating access to educational resources and vocational training for children to help them break the cycle of poverty that often leads to labor exploitation. I want to say thank you for your time and please review my references on the final page.